Jimmy Fallon was on Diary of a CEO. Sammy boy, thank you for this wonderful slideshow. This is Jimmy Fallon. How many of you guys do you know who Jimmy Fallon is? If you don't know who Jimmy Fallon is, I'd be shocked. That's not my daughter behind him, which is weird that it looks like my daughter. Jimmy Fallon is, I didn't even have to pull notes for this because I just know Jimmy. Like, I don't really know him, but I followed his career for a long time. And I'll tell you why. I followed his career for a long time. Jimmy Fallon has been a lot in the news for people saying he's fake. People saying that he laughs at everything and that he's a phony. And every time I would see that, it would kind of bother me. It would kind of bother me because I had I'll tell you, I had an experience with him. But early in his career, in 2001, I believe, I got to meet him. And I got to interview him in a couple different instances. He was not super famous at this point. He was on Saturday Night Live. He was definitely popping. This is a perfect example of the internet hating somebody with no real backing. Because they think he laughs too much at his guests and that he's having too much of a good time. So they think he's a phony. I think a lot of it comes from like a Trump thing too, when he shook Trump's head, and I'm like, guys, if you're gonna be mad at anybody over the Trump thing, Jimmy's like the last guy to be mad about, okay? And he was great on SNL, exactly, Aaron. He was great. One of the heavy hitters. I loved him on SNL. Every time I watched him on SNL, I just loved him. And I like that he laughed a lot at his bits. I like that he'd break every now and then. And I'm talking 2001, so I'm literally talking 23, 24 years ago, right? A very different time. And so I'm in Peru. And this is for real, not a joke. I'm in Peru, and it wasn't like it was an okay trip. Got to see some cool stuff, but there was nothing to do a lot of the times. And luckily, I did get a chance to watch SNL. I was really into SNL. At one point in time, I was really wanting to be in SNL. I was like, oh, I want to be in it. But then I realized what it took to kind of get there, and I just wasn't. I wasn't willing to sacrifice a bunch of stuff like that. Anyway, hell, I never even auditioned for him, and who the hell knows that? It is dumb to hate on him because, once again, man, I have to do this because I end up meeting a lot of people that people hate on the internet. So I have to remember to do this, and I've done this when I first started meeting people that people hated in real life. And remember and going like, hey, how were they to me? Did they offend anybody I know? Or is it just this overall internet hate for somebody? Because I don't want to participate in that. Jimmy Fallon is that dude that gets it now. He was on Diary of a CEO once again. And it was a very honest interview. That's why we're talking about it now. He's a lot of clips are popping out there. So he was on Diary of CEO, and he said, man, it hurts me. It hurts me when people don't like me. And as an entertainer, I can understand that. He dedicated his life. You know what he wanted to become when he grew up? To be on SNL. That was his dream. And he did everything like a kid who wanted to be a dentist, like a kid who wanted to be a doctor, like a kid who wanted to play baseball. They dedicated themselves day and night. He never missed an episode of SNL. Ever. He left New York to go to the Groundlings to study. He dedicated, and then he became one of the reason we don't remember him as one of the best is because he became the Tonight Show host. He has gone on to have quite the career. Now, Jimmy Fallon, as you can see here in this wonderful slides that Sammy picked up, he ain't got no worries. He's good. He's got a beautiful wife. Seems to be a great father. Has hosted, I think, all the award shows there is. Loaded. Looks good in a tux. And that's when I met him, during, I think, that time. It seems to be around 2001, maybe 99. That's when I met him. Okay, so back to my story so I'm in Peru, and the TV, and SNL comes on. And Jimmy Fallon, and it wasn't a great episode, but Jimmy Fallon was doing the weekend update at that point. And I was looking for a piece of home because I was like gone for 2 weeks. And I was kind of like homesick a little bit. And I'm like, kid, I was like 19, 20. And he said some joke on there that was cracked me up about a Fabergé egg. And I just thought it was funny. And I just remembered it. And fast forward to a couple months later, I'm on a radio show. And I see that Jimmy Fallon is going to be playing at Stetson University. Stetson University. Now, a real weird, trippy thing is that I live down the street from Stetson University now. I literally live in the area. My only connection to Stetson before this was this Jimmy Fallon story that ended up getting me this. I get home. I see that he's going to be performing. I call up Stetson. I get his manager's number. I say, hey, maybe he'll want to come on the radio show. And he did. And set up the time. Spoke to his manager. And then right at the end of the show that I used to work on, it was right around 11 o'clock, and he called right at the end of the show. And I pick up because I was the phone screener at the time, so I would talk to all these celebrities before they went on the air. It was kind of cool. And I pick it up, I'm like, Jimmy? And he's like, hey, man, hey, what's going on? And I'm like, hey, Jimmy, what's up, man? It's Carlos. And because I'd talking to him, I said, you would be speaking to Carlos. Hey, Carlos, thank you so much for reaching out, man. Thank you so much, man. I'm really excited to be on the show. I know I called in a little bit late, but can I still talk? I'm like, yeah, man, you can talk for a little. And unfortunately, at the time, they were like, well, okay, yeah. And they kind of put him on the air for a little bit. But when I talked to him off the air, I said, hey, Jimmy, before you get on the air, I just want to tell you thank you. He's like, no, thank you. I said, dude, you said this joke. I was in Peru. I'm watching SNL. And you said this Fabergé egg joke. I just randomly, because like, once again, he hadn't done a bunch of things. He hadn't done Taxi Driver. He hadn't done all these things, you know. And I just was, I like to show love to people that are entertainers because I know how hard it is to get compliments and I like to give real ones. And so I was like, Jimmy, that Fabergé egg joke, I needed that joke, man. I was in the middle of Peru and he's like, are you serious? Are you serious? I'm like, yeah. I said it was my favorite joke. Are you serious? He goes, Carlos, that was my favorite joke I wrote that week. And I have it and I love it. Thank you because other people didn't think it was. And I'm like, thanks, man. Okay. He gets on the air. He does a good job. Boom, whatever. That was it. So he invites me to go to see him perform at Stetson. Now, I'm a kid at the time. I ain't got shit to do. So, of course, I'm like, hell yeah, I'll be there with bells on. So he invites me to go see him perform at Stetson. He's like, just come backstage afterwards. And if you want, so I can say thank you. I'm like, okay, sure. So I go to this performance and I drive there. It's 2001, so I'm 20. Get there. He's doing stand-up. He ends up being this amazing stand-up guitarist, does it all. Okay, he plays music, he can sing, he can rap. He's like the triple, quadruple threat. Really inspiring. Really, 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 really inspiring. I kind of love all the styles he does. I love singing. I love playing. I love sketching, all that stuff, So then he's even like kind of having fun on stage. And then I go, well, it's after the show. And I could be like, well, he doesn't really want me to go back there. But I'm like, yeah, screw it. I'll go back there. So I go and I knock on the backstage door. And who opens it up? Jimmy Fallon. And Jimmy Fallon literally points at me and goes, Carlos, I will never forget this. And I go, yes. And he goes, come on in, man. Thank you so much. I'm like, okay. I literally walk in. I'm with Jimmy Fallon. There were some other people there. There was another guy named Carlos there. And he knew me from the show too. And we're sitting in his backstage. And he was like, Carlos, thank you so much for having me on the show, man. The Fabergé egg joke, man, the fact that you found that funny, it was so cool. And I just want to thank you, man. And I hope you enjoy. The show was hilarious. I was like, of course. He was hilarious. And then we talked for a little bit. And I think he had to do an interview with somebody else. I didn't want to take too much time. But he's like, no, Carlos, before you go. Boom. He goes, I want to give you the book that I wrote. I'm like, you wrote a book? And he's like, yeah, here, man. I just wanted to give it to you. And I look at it and said, I hate this place. The Pessimist's Guide to Life. He wrote it with his sister, Gloria Fallon. This is the coolest part. This was not like what a lot of people, hey, grab a book, man. There's a stack of them. Stack of books over here that's high. Oh, thanks. I don't care. If that would have been the case, I'd be like, hell yeah, So he hands me the book, and I look inside of it. It was already written. He'd written it before I'd even gotten it there. He didn't sign this in front of me. He didn't sign this, No. Carlos, thanks for coming to see me. Jimmy Fallon, SNL, 2001. You know who does this? A gentleman. I wish I had this kind of foresight to do stuff like this. And I feel like as I get older, I'm 44 or whatever. What a gentleman, man. So anybody talks mess about Jimmy Fallon, don't talk to me. You start talking some mess about Jimmy Fallon, don't. Jimmy Fallon is my best friend. He wrote me one time 24 years ago. We're best friends, and he's always a good dude to me. He's never been mean to me once, not even once. And I've met him a whole one time. So take that for what you will.
Don't miss the Top of the Morning Show. We're live every Wednesday and Friday at 8:30 a.m. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss the madness. Let's start the day right, together.
All right then, I'm subscribing right now. To the top, never stop.